But for now, chat, I know a lot of you all were super, super excited, and I really, really appreciate all of you who showed up early and on time for today's stream and today's guest, because our guest today joins us following the release of her new track and music video, Next, which premiered just last month. She's here to talk about her new music, her new era of songwriting and artistry, as well as being the star of the new show, Cruel Summer. So chat, please drop some emotes and welcome Olivia Holt. Hi, welcome to the stream.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I know you probably can't see the chat, but I do want to just let you know that there are so many people who joined like right at 4 who are so, so excited to see you on here. So again, really, really happy to have you on. Thanks for doing this.
Cool. Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, of course. So chat, feel free to drop some questions in as well. I know you all had some questions, as do I. But I want to start with your new track, Next, which I loved. And the video is so fun. The song is super fun. I'd love to hear just kind of like, how did that song come together?
Wow. Okay. So pre-pandemic, maybe, I don't know, maybe like a month before, I had gotten pitched the song Next, and it just felt so right on so many levels. I was really trying to solidify my artistry and my vision and what my sound was going to be and lyrically what I wanted to do. And there are so many layers and elements of music, as we all know, that we're suckers for. And one of them for me is organic instruments and just having a timeless feel to music, because we want something that we can dance to and we want something that makes us feel alive. And I feel like music is such a big part of everybody's existence. And this song for me just struck me in such an electric way. And I'm very, very proud of it. I feel like it definitely is like in this liberating space in my life. And Megan Trainor is a songwriter on it. And she's obviously a legend in the pop realm, and to work with her is an ultimate dream. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful for this song. And I'm happy that we waited to release it like almost a year and a half later, because I feel like it just wasn't the right time during the pandemic.
That's
Everyone
fair.
was really struggling,
Yeah.
and I think that we waited until this summer because I feel like things are starting to open up again. Things are starting to look up and there's hope and people want something to dance to again. So hopefully this song is that for people, because it's definitely that for me.
Yeah, I really like that you mentioned that. Something that you also mentioned in your answer, you said you really like organic instruments. And the thing that I noticed about that song is like it's just really big. I don't even know how to describe it. Like the instrumental is really
Yeah.
like big and it makes you want to move. Like the opening notes, I was like, oh, like the first time I heard it, like that's what it makes you do. So can you kind of talk a little bit more about like the feeling you wanted to bring out when you heard that song and the track? Like what was your first reaction to it?
I mean, like you said, it's big. It
Yeah.
has all of these layers and elements to it that, I mean, and don't get me wrong, like I love stripped down songs, and I love songs that, can be big but can also be stripped down. And I performed this song live for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I had two female horn players, a female guitarist, and like it was super stripped down, but like it still felt big. Like it
Yeah.
still felt like this exciting and liberating song. And that's what I want in music. Like when you're playing shows live, like you want people to like feel like the bass like in their
Mm-hmm.
body, whatever venue it is, big or small. And I think that song, like I think the first time I heard it, I can't listen to it on my iPhone. Like I have to listen to
Yeah,
it with
it's like a
headphones or
speaker.
like on a
Yeah,
speaker.
it's like a speaker song.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like in your car
Yep.
or at like a party, or just like have it on with your friends and your environment. And yeah, I feel like it just like it's new and it's exciting, and it's like sort of like the start of like this new era of music for me. And I really like believe that like all of the music that I'm going to release after that is sort of like hints of what this song is.
That's really exciting because I really enjoyed the song, so I
Cool.
cannot wait
Thanks.
to hear more. But also something you mentioned was you had made the song during the pandemic or before the pandemic, and I wanted to know kind of what was it like for you making music during the pandemic, but also developing your sound as an artist during the pandemic? Because I agree, it's like a good song for this summer that makes you want to move and jump around. So what was the difference going back a year ago, going back a year and a half ago, when the world was very different, but you're making really fun music? still?
Yeah, it was very bizarre. It's a really good question because I got the song before everything shut down, and then we had to wait to cut it because all the studios shut down. And I think I went in to cut the song like a month into quarantine, and it was so strange. I walked into this studio that I is like home away from home for me. I know all the people there very well, and I walked in and everybody had masks on. There was hand sanitizer in like
Oh,
every corner of the room. I had my own entrance to the bathroom and my own entrance to the booth, and it just like it was like my first experience in like a lockdown situation where we had to keep distance, and it was definitely hard and really tricky to get into that fun headspace that the
mm-hmm.
song brings. Um, but I think it was this sounds so cheesy, but I think it was like hope,
Yeah.
it was hope that like we didn't know that this was going to last like over a year. We didn't know what the timeline looked like.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in that moment it was just all about hope again. And
Yeah.
then as like we started to realize the timeline, that's when we like made the decision to hold off on releasing it and wait until like the hope starts feeling alive again.
Yeah. I really like that because I wanted to ask you too, like, how did you find you talked a lot about, the new era of you as an artist. How do you find that sound for yourself as an artist? How do you find that change, especially when there's a pandemic going on? I mean, you found it clearly, but like, how do you get in that headspace?
Yeah, I honestly I think I'm still finding it. And I think that that's like the beauty of music, right? Like it's always an evolution and artists are always reinventing themselves or trying new things or taking risks. But in a pandemic, I feel like I got to really sit down and create a vision. I make music, but I'm also in acting, and sometimes balancing the two can be really tricky. And I
Yeah.
don't always have the opportunity to like sit down and sort of solidify all of these like moving parts of my career. And I kind of had the opportunity during quarantine to sit and figure out exactly like how I want to execute my music. What is my vision for my career? What is my vision for my music? And and that is on every single level, like from how the music is going to sound, what I'm going to say lyrically, what the overall theme is going to be, what the music videos are going to look like, and having like all of those moving parts working and just solidifying that. And I had the time to do that during quarantine. And then I did a couple of like Zoom writing sessions, which are
Ah, I've heard
being
about those.
transparent. They're weird.
Yeah,
They're
everyone
totally
says they're
weird.
weird. There's not been a single person who I've talked to has been like, I love Zoom writing sessions. So I get it.
If you meet them,
Yeah,
I
I
will
know.
be
Stay far away.
like wild. They're because it's a collaborative thing making music, and
Yeah.
it's you have to feel the energy in the
Hmm.
room. And yeah, so strange, so strange, but grateful that like life is sort of slowly but surely getting back, and we're able to make music again and in
Yeah,
person.
because that definitely changes things, especially when, songs are super personal. Because I feel like songs that you have, like Do You Miss Me, for example, those that feels like a very intimate song to me. So not being able to like write with people in a room and kind of being on Zoom, I would assume is like a very different experience. I don't know if that song was written on Zoom or like how that came together, but that's just like from
Wasn't
what I'm
Thank God
thinking.
it wasn't.
Okay.
Thank God it
But it feels very heartfelt. But something you also mentioned was kind of balancing, because you are an actress and you also make music. I'd love to know, how do you feel like, if at all, your acting career has and experience has influenced your music and your creativity as an artist?
That's a good question. I I do feel like it has. I feel like music was my first love. I knew from a very young age that I wanted to sing. And as I got older, I knew I just wanted to make music. And then I sort of fell into acting, and I equally fell in love with it. And they are different forms of creative outlets.
Mm-hmm.
I get a different rush from acting than I do making music. But both, but I do feel like my experiences in acting have definitely inspired the music that I've even been making since I was 15, 16 years old, because I've lived, I feel like, so many lives in that time. I'm entering my mid 20s now, and I'm just such a different person. And because of the experiences that I've had working on a set or working with other actors or having sort of a different lifestyle, and then making music on top of that. I don't know if I'm actually articulating
No,
this
that
the
makes
way
perfect
that
sense.
it's sounding in my head, but it is definitely like both I feel like have inspired each other in some way or form. And I feel like they've really presented themselves in ways like where I go into sessions, and even if like we're writing a sad song and I'm in the best mood ever, I can
That's
sort of
true,
like step
actually.
in, I can step into that headspace because acting has helped me in that way. And then even on the opposite side, I feel like there's been so many incredible opportunities where I've done an acting job, and the producers have come to me and been like, yo, we have a song. We want you to sing
That's
it.
really
Would you
cool.
be down? And it's cool. Like I get to do both, and not just both separately, but like I get to do them together. And I'm
Yeah.
very grateful for that.
That's really cool. I like what you said about like if you step into the studio and you're not in a headspace to write a specific song, you can kind of get in that headspace. Because I wanted to know too, like what similarities do you feel like you see between acting and music? Because I mean, at the end of the day, you're a creative, so it's like you kind of work that same muscle. But do you feel like
Mm-hmm.
there's any similarities in how you approach a new role versus how you might approach a new song or a new project?
Sure. I mean, I guess as far as like the beginning process goes, like I remember when I first started going into writing sessions, I was terrified. I was so intimidated. I was just a nervous wreck because I had no idea what I was doing, and I was nervous that my concepts or ideas or um lyrically, if I was coming up with stuff, I thought that people were going to be like, she sucks. They're not good enough. They're weak. And I had this big fear of that. And I sometimes feel that way whenever I book a role, that I'm not going to be able to do the role justice, especially if it's a role that is based off of a person's life that had already lived it. And yeah, I guess like the process, like going into it, I would say is very, very similar. But I've also had to learn, and I'm still learning this, but I've also had to really like understand to let go of that fear and to just like do my best
Yeah.
and have fun while doing it. I love what I do, and I'm so grateful that I get to do both. And so to understand that they're two separate things in my life, but like in some way they sort of flow together, I think is so special. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, like just sort of letting go and like taking risk and like breaking down like all the preconceived barriers about myself is like something that I've had to work really, really hard for.
That's really cool. And I would imagine too, just like the idea of you breaking down barriers and just getting comfortable would really come out when it comes to shooting music videos too, because you can like step into the role or whatever the vibe of the song is, look totally comfortable and act in that way. And that's not really like a stretch for you. I know, speaking of music videos, I saw you all in the chat. I do see your comments. I've gotten some questions. Some people had asked your favorite scene to shoot for the music video next, and also which scene took the longest to shoot.
That's a really good question. I'm trying to think. We shot the video in September of last year, so in the middle of the pandemic, and the whole thing was shot on film. So we got no playback. We had no
Oh,
idea
wow.
what anything was going to look
Oh, my
like, which
goodness.
was a huge risk that we were taking. But we had an incredible, like, just such a solid team of creatives behind the camera who really made it look so beautiful and timeless and cinematic. And um, there was there's a scene in this big, I guess we shot it in a mansion, so in an area of the house that I guess could be a ballroom, but it
Mm-hmm.
had like couches and
Yeah.
tables and a piano, and it's this massive room. I mean, it felt like half the size of a football field. And I had this whole dance number that we shot, and we shot from top of the song to bottom of the song, me dancing around the entire
Wow.
room. and I was in this like leather jacket with like, thank God I only had like a bralette underneath
I'm sure that
because
got very hot.
I have never sweated more in my entire life. It was like September in LA. It's still
Oh,
incredibly
hot.
and no AC. And I don't know why there wasn't any AC. This is a mansion. I don't know why there wasn't any AC in there, but in just like full like leather getup. And it was the most fun to shoot, but it took the longest and it was definitely the most challenging. But it's one of my favorite parts of the video. And it just feels so effortless and fun and liberating. And I think that's why I love that scene so much. And then like I love that like the whole video is just like cutting around like different parts of the house. It really showcases the house, but it also just like showcases like a version of myself. I obviously don't live in a mansion like that, but like it's a version of myself, like just having fun and dancing to not necessarily my song, yes, my song, but just like dancing to music and feeling liberated and confident and in my own skin. And yeah, I felt like it really executed really well.
Yeah. And I mean, even though it was hot in there and you were wearing leather, you truly can't tell. Like, you look like you're having a great time. So you really can't tell at all, which is where that acting comes in. So there you go.
Okay, good.
Oh my goodness. There's a lot.
On the struggle bus.
I can imagine. There's also a lot of really great questions in the chat that I'm getting. They might seem kind of random, but I want to do rapid fire really quickly. One of these actually has to do with what I wanted to ask you. Someone had asked, do you listen to K-pop? And someone had also asked, who are some of your favorite singers? Which kind of goes into what I wanted to ask you about, like your musical influences. A lot of questions at once, so feel free to pick any one of those three.
I do listen to K-pop. I don't listen to it like religiously, but I definitely listen to it every now and then. And K-pop is so special. Like I feel like it is a very specific lane and it's so fun and I wish that I can understand it because I feel like the melodies are crazy and they're so good. I do love K-pop, and I guess like as far as artists that I love and listen to and that inspire me, I listen to a lot of female UK artists actually, like Ellie Goulding, Jess Glynne, Anne-Marie. Like those are like my top faves. I feel like whenever I think about like the music that I'm making, I feel like I always like look to them for inspo because I feel like there's some female pop artists who have really created like their own mold and are very unique in the way that they sound and the way that their music sounds. And yeah, I'm a really big fan of the three of them.
Ooh, I like that. What do you feel like is your, like, I guess not the main genre, but what genres do you feel like you kind of gravitate towards? Or is it like a grab bag of people? Someone also in the chat asked, do you listen to rock music? It's a very general question, but like, you know.
I do. If this says anything, I've been to 3 Van Halen concerts.
Ooh,
I've been to Aerosmith. I've been like, I feel like I wasn't supposed to be born in the era that I was born in, but I kind of a grab bag, I would say. I love all different kinds of genres of music. I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. So for me, it's the organic instruments that I'm a sucker for. Mm-hmm. I love guitar. I love drums. I like, even on Next, like when I heard the horns, it just like struck me in a whole new way because you don't really hear that in music so much anymore, and especially in pop music. So for me, I really want to incorporate those elements into my music because I feel like it's in my bones, you know. That's what I grew up listening to, whether it was like walking down Beale Street or it was just playing in my house, because that's where I'm from. That's where rock and roll is created. And so it's a grab bag though. I mean, I love R&B. I love country. Like I feel like there's just like so many things about music that I'm obsessed with that I want in my own, you know?
Do you feel like in the future, any of those sounds or kind of genres you could see yourself kind of gravitating towards? Do you have any ideas yet in terms of like, trying out kind of a country sound, trying out kind of what are genres even? But, you know, like trying out those sounds, you know, like blending things.
Of course I do. Of course. Like I definitely have. I think there was like at one point when I first started making music that I was like, I want to make country music. And then I spent like a week in Nashville and I was like, my heart just isn't in it yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not,
That's
it's not in the country space yet. Even though I like grew up in that area, I knew like I wanted to go down the pop lane. Um, but I do see myself like maybe eventually going in maybe like a pop country like direction or but like you said, like what even is genre?
I
Like
know
what
everybody
genres
just like
anymore? Like
makes stuff, which is fun. So
you're
it's
just
just like,
so fun. And that's what I mean about the evolution of music. Like we have like such a broad space to play with and we should be trying new things and I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm still like trying to solidify myself in the pop realm.
yeah.
So maybe I should just stick in that lane for a little bit and then eventually, move on into somewhere else. But I mean, I love all different kinds of music. So it definitely, I feel you on that. Like it's hard to like just stick with like one
Exactly.
sound and one thing.
Exactly. Plus, I like, and like you said with Next, those horns, like it sounds different. Like it doesn't sound like just like a generic pop song or a generic, like I'm sticking to this genre
Yeah.
type of thing. So I feel like just being attracted to different sounds, it will just, it'll be good music either way. But then that makes me wonder, I know you've talked a lot about kind of moving into this new era for yourself as an artist. Can you kind of talk to us about what you see for yourself in terms of this new lane that you want to move towards, in terms of what music you want to make and everything?
Yeah. I just want to make like fun, timeless music. Like I will forever I will forever be like a Whitney Houston fan because I feel
Oh,
like she
yes.
just like created this space that the music can be sad, the
Hmm.
music can be fun, the music it can be not just one thing. And especially as like a female,
Hmm.
not being one note and having emotions and feelings and having the opportunity to like express like all of those layers of ourselves that is I think the most exciting part about making music and music forgot the English language um but it's whereas acting I'm stepping into a different human shoes and for music it's all about my voice and it's all about creating something that is involved with my experiences and whether it's past experience present or things that I want to experience and I think the reason I mentioned Whitney Houston is because I feel like she did such an incredible job at protecting that lane and making that lane for female artists and I'm excited about the evolution and I'm grateful for the opportunity to do it and the fans who have been with me since I was 15, 16 years old making music and are down for me to try new things and it's been fun. It's been really, really fun.
Yeah.
It's been an epic wild journey for sure because it's hard to solidify your thing, especially
Yeah.
when you're 50. Like, who knows who they are? I don't even know exactly who I am right now. So
Please.
to do that
Exactly.
at like 15 and be like, okay, I'm going to talk about love. And
I
I'm like,
know.
I've
And then
never
it's
even
like,
been
what
in
are
a
we?
relationship.
That's so real. But it's always funny because at the time you're like, yep, this is me. And then years later, you're like, what was going on there? Who was that?
100%. Exactly.
All the time. Oh my goodness. No, I really like that answer though, because when it comes to like making timeless music, I remember once in an interview, Mariah Carey said something similar where she was like, all my songs, I try to make it seem like this came out in any era. Like you could listen to it 20 years from now and it still sounds
Mm.
fresh and new. So I really love that outlook on things. But also I'm getting so many chat questions. Someone actually keeps, I'm going to ask this one because I've seen it like 4 times now. Someone
Okay.
asked, what concert that you've done is your favorite? Theirs is the one with Ryland Lynch.
Oh God. Favorite concert? I went on like a mini tour back in, oh God, 2016, I think. I feel like it's been 100 years now, but it was the most fun and I can't wait to go back on tour again. We did like 13 cities. I started off here in Los Angeles and we played at the Roxy and it was just it was the most fun I've ever had. I will never forget how electrifying the energy was in every single venue that I played in. And they were small club venues, and it was legitimate rock and roll, baby. I remember walking into one venue and I was like, it smells like straight up cigarette smoke, and like it was scary for a minute, but it was so fun. It was, I mean, touring, there's nothing like it. And I
Yeah.
mean, playing live shows,
Oh my gosh, I can imagine.
there's no words to describe it, because no matter how small the venue, no matter how big, like people show up and they're ready to just have fun. And when they sing their song, when they sing your song back to you, it's just it's untouchable. Like there's nothing like that feeling. So I totally went around. I didn't actually
No, I
answer the
love
question.
it.
I have no idea what my favorite show is, because I really have enjoyed every single one, and every single one has like helped me grow as an artist. I mean, live shows are hard. You have to
Yeah.
like build up the stamina. You have to build up, like, I mean, I get so nervous before I go out on stage. So to walk out there and like for people to just be having the time of their lives is the ultimate dream. And I really got that experience.
That's amazing. Especially, you said performing live is hard when you do it once, but on tour, whenever I see people on tour and I think about the fact that they have to do that show multiple times while traveling, that seems extremely tiring. So that is like a very admirable. I'm always in awe when I see people at shows, because I'm like, the stamina that you have to have, out of this
It's
world.
why, I mean, yeah, I mean, that was only, I think, like 13 cities. It wasn't even the full shebang. So I can't even imagine. I agree. I'm like, that is something else.
I
It's
know
true.
that's about to be you. So, you know, but you also, at the beginning of this, you talked about you played live. I mean, you played Next live for the first time recently, you said. What was that like? And do you have any upcoming tour plans and shows coming up?
Playing Next live was, I I remember but I went into my first rehearsal and I watched the girls play the song before I went up there and started singing with them. And I got chills everywhere, because I mean, when you live with the
Yeah.
track for so long, and I mean, I've been living with Next for like a year and a half now. And so to hear it live, and to like I said, like that bass, to feel like the instruments like in your like body, it just is electrifying. So doing that was so fun. And I'm excited I performed it live, but we shot it on a video, and um but there was no audience. So I'm excited to like play the song live for an audience. I think that's going to be just so epic. And as far as any upcoming plans to perform live, it's definitely in the works. There's nothing official or confirmed yet, but I'm excited for when that day does come. I mean, I haven't even been back to a concert yet.
Oh
So
my gosh, me neither, actually. What do you want to make your first concert, whether it's your own or someone else's? Like, if tomorrow you could go see someone in concert, who would that person be?
I mean, probably Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak.
Ooh, that would be such a good show.
Right? I mean,
That's a
I've seen
good
Bruno
answer.
Mars 100 times, and he just never fails. Like, he never disappoints ever. But to like see him and Anderson .Paak, like I'm ready for the album. Like I'm
Oh
ready for like
yes,
the full thing.
that is a great answer. That would be a good experience, and like an outdoor concert with
So
them too. That'd be a nice
unreal,
vibe. I
unreal.
know.
Yeah,
Now you have to make it happen. You have to make it happen now, because you've said it.
exactly.
But as we kind of, things open back up, and, the world is kind of opening, people are doing live shows and everything. What's next for you artistically, just in general? What areas are you looking to grow in, expand in? What can fans expect?
Whew. Wow. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm sort of all over the place right now. I definitely want to soak up as much knowledge as I possibly can in the music realm. And I feel like I still have so much to learn. And I'm excited to get back into writing sessions. I haven't really been in one in over a year. So I'm excited to go back in and start consistently making music again. And as far as acting goes, I'm excited to just get back onto set and start creating, fun projects, and I'm starting to step my toes into the water of producing, which is really exciting, and sort of starting my
That's so
own
exciting.
development, which is really cool, and like create stories for women. And I'm just like, I'm really enjoying life, and I'm getting the opportunity to know more about myself and to enjoy the relationships that I have in my life, and just taking it day by day. I think
Yeah.
this was a really hard year for all of us. And so to finally like sit down and like just appreciate all the good around me, and to look forward to the next half of the year and all the music that I have coming out and the people that I worked with on it, and just taking it day by day and enjoying it as it comes.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love that. And I'm super excited for you too, and to see all of the new things you have coming out, because it all sounds really, really exciting. And if, like you said, your music that's coming out is anything like Next, I cannot wait to hear it. I'm super excited. But thank you again so much for coming on stream and just chatting with me. It was so great having you on. We'd love to have you back sometime.
I would love to. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. This was so fun. And
Yeah,
I
of
just
course.
realized that I talk with my hands so much.
I do
Like,
too.
you have
I
not
do
moved your
too.
hands one time.
No, the only reason I haven't moved my hand is because my nails aren't done. So I have like consciously tried not to, but usually I literally will like knock the microphone while we're on stream. So I have to be like, so I'm the
That's
same way.
legendary.
I'm the
Truly
same way.
legendary. I love that answer. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm gonna sit on my hands the next time
No,
because
that's
I
been
talk
me the whole time. No, I'm usually like, so I'm really in it today.
so good. Wow.
But thank you
No,
so
thank you.
much.
This was so fun.
Yeah, definitely come back sometime. We loved having you.